Hello and welcome to another Excel tips video. I am Sumit Bansal, and in today's video I'm going to show you two new Excel functions, take and drop. So let me first explain how these functions work, and then I'm going to show you a couple of examples to use them. Let's get started. So now let me first explain how the take and the drop function works. So here I have this data set with name, region and sales column. And the take function allows you to take the specified number of rows from the top or from the beginning. So let's say I want to get the top 3 rows from this data set. So I'm going to use the take function with this array or this table as the first argument. Then I need to specify how many number of rows I want from this data set. So let's say I want to get the top 3 records. So I would say 3 here. And now when I hit enter, it gives me the first 3 records in this data set. So what it does, it starts going from the top and it is going to pick 3 rows and give it to me here. If I want a specific number of columns, then instead of the row value here, I can give the column value. So let's say I want only the names from here, then I would say 1. So what it's going to do is it will start from the leftmost part of this array, which is going to be column number A here, and it will give me the specified number of columns, which is 1 column. So now when I hit enter, it gives me only the names. If you want to get these records from the bottom of the array, then you can do that as well. So here, let's say I want to get the last 3 records. Then instead of 3 rows, I would put -3 rows here. So if I put 3, it gives me the top 3 records. If I put -3, it is going to give me the last 3 records. See what happens now when I hit enter, it gives me these last 3 records. And if you want the last column, then you can use -1 here. Sorry, -1 as the column number. So here it is going to give you the sales values. So as you can see, take function in itself is very simple to use, but in most cases you will be using it with other functions such as sort and filter. And I'm going to show you some examples on how to do that. So let me also quickly explain the drop function. Again, the drop function is very similar. Now take function is used a lot more, but it's also good to know how the drop function works. And with the drop function, it is going to take this array and you can choose how many number of rows or columns you want to drop from this. So let's say I do not want the top 3 records. So I would come here and I would say drop the first 3 records. And now it is going to give me the records starting from this part here because it is dropping the top 3 records. And if you want to drop the last 3 records, for example, you have a data set and you do not want the bottom performers, or in a data set you do not want the people who have the lowest sales value in a sorted data, then you can come here and you can say -3. So it is going to drop the last 3 records. So you get the records here till header, but you do not get the last 3 records. And you can do the same thing with columns. So for example, in this case, if I want the names only, then I can say I want to drop -2 here, which means I want to drop the last 2 columns. And now when I hit enter, it gives me only the names. And if I only want the sales values, I can say drop the first 2 columns. So again, very simple, works just like the take function. Now, one thing that you cannot do with the take function is, in this case, let me remove this. What if I want to get the names and the sales values? I do not want the region column here. Take function would give me, always start from the leftmost part when it comes to columns, and it is going to take this, start from this column, or if you're using a negative number, then it is going to start from the rightmost part. But how do I not include one of the columns? You cannot do that with the take function, but you can do that with another function called CHOOSECOLS, and you can use this in combination with the take function. So what the CHOOSECOLS function does is it is going to take this array and you can specify what number of rows or what number of columns you want, and you can specify the number of the column. For example, I want the first column and the last column. I do not want the second one, so I would say I want the first one and the third column. And now when I hit enter, it gives me the name and the sales values, and I can then use this with the take function or drop function. So I can say I want the top 5 records for this. So I would have the take function, then the result of the CHOOSECOL function becomes the array, which is the first argument for the take function. And now I say give me the 5 records, the top 5 records for this, where as you can see the region has not been included. So take function along with CHOOSECOLS can be used to extract specific data set from a bigger array. Now, let me show you how to use the take function with some other functions such as sort and filter. Here again, I have the same data set and I want to get the names of those people who have done maximum sales. So top 3 sales people from this data set. Now, the problem with this as of now is that this is not sorted. So if I use the take function on this, it gives me these 3 records, but these are not the right records because this data set is not sorted by sales. So I'm going to first use the sort function to sort this data set. And here my sort index is going to be 3, which is the third column based on which I want to sort this. And then I want to sort it in a descending order. So I would use -1. And now when I hit enter, it gives me these records where these are the people who have done maximum sales based on their sales values. And I want to get only these records. So now I can use the take function on this result. So this becomes my array, which is the first input for the take function. And now I want to only get the 3 records here. And now when I hit enter, it gives me these 3 records, these 3 people name along with their region and their sales values. If you only want to get their names, then you can further add 1 as the column argument for the take function. So it is only going to give you the first column from this array. So now when I hit enter, it only gives me these 3 records. If you want to know the names of people who have done minimum sales, so let's say the last 3 performing sales people, then you can change this to -3. So it is going to start from the bottom and then pick up 3 records from the sorted data set. So now when I hit enter, it gives me these 3 records, and these are the 3 people who have done minimum sales. Now let's say I want to get the names and the sales values. I do not want to get the region value. So as I showed, you can do that using the take function along with the CHOOSECOLS function. So again, I'll first sort this data set based on the third column in a descending order. So now it gives me this. Now I want to choose the column, so it only gives me the names and the sales values. So I would come here and I would use CHOOSECOLS, and I would say only give me the first and third column. So it only now gives me the name and the sales values. And now I can use the take function on this result and say, give me the top 3 records. So this is how you can mix and match take along with other functions. Let me show you another example where I'm going to use the take function with the filter function. So here again, I have the same data set. And what I want to do is create a dropdown. And based on that dropdown, I'm going to fetch the results from this data set. So let's say the dropdown is about the region. So if I select US from the dropdown, then it extracts all the records from the US. But in that case, I don't want to extract all the records. I want to get the name of the person who has done maximum sales. So let me first create that dropdown. I'm going to first use the unique function to fetch the unique number of region here. So these are the names of the regions that are unique in this list. Now, the good thing about this is that because this is a table, if I come here and I add something, this would automatically expand, and this formula will also automatically update. So if I add, let's say India here, then this list would automatically update to add India. Now, I'm going to use this to create my dropdown. Now, if you have not watched my dynamic array videos, there I covered what is the hash operator. So you can watch that video. I will also have the link in the description. But what it does is, when you are referring to dynamic arrays, the result of dynamic array formula, you do not need to refer to the entire range, as in I do not need to say E2 to E4. I can just say E2 hash, and Excel automatically does it when I select this. What it means is, in cell E2, there is a formula, and hash means give me the result of that formula, the entire result of that formula. So I'm not specifying how many number of cells I want. I'm just saying I want the entire result of the formula that is there in cell E2. So if tomorrow I add more records to my table and this result here expands, let's say now there are 5 regions, this would automatically update. So if I create my dropdown using this, then my dropdown is going to be dynamic. So I don't have to worry about the options in the dropdown changing. So let me copy this, and I'm going to, let's say, create the dropdown here in cell F1. Let me give this a different color. And now I'm going to go to the data tab, click on data validation icon, and here I'm going to select list, and in source I'm going to enter equal to E2 hash. And now when I click OK, it creates the dropdown, and you can see the dropdown here is picking up the names from the unique function. Now, using this, I want to fetch the records from this data set. So I'm going to use the filter function, and I would say from this data set, I want only those records where the region value is equal to the dropdown list selection. And now when I hit enter, it gives me all the records for US. If I change this, you'll see it automatically updates. So I have the records for Europe and Asia and so on. Now in this, I only want the top performing salesperson's name. So I'm going to use the take function here. Sorry, one more thing. I need to also sort this data. So you can see as of now, this data is not sorted. So I need to first sort this data. So I would come here and I would say sort, and then I want to sort it based on the sales value, so which is the third column, and I want to sort it in a descending order. So now when I hit enter, now this is the sorted data set, and you can see if I change this region value, this is the sorted result. Now I can come here and I can say, give me or top 2 performing salespeople from this data set. So I've used the take function and I'm only getting the top 2 records. And now when I hit enter, it gives me these 2 records. And if I change this here, you'll see it automatically updates and gives me the top 2 performing salespeople from each region. If you just want the names, then you can further add the column argument where I say I just need the column, which means I just need the first column, which is the name. So now instantly it would give me the names of only the top performing people. So this is how you can use the take function. Again, I focused mostly on the take function in this video, but you can do everything that I've done here with the drop function as well. That's it in this video. I hope you found this useful. Also, I will have a link for the example file in the description so you can download it from there. Also, if you're liking these kind of videos, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so that you never miss out on any new Excel tips video I come up with. Thank you and have a nice day.